Talk Radio, 1190.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily those of this station or iHeart Media.
From the fast action of the trading pit to the power brokers making the headlines, you'll hear it all on the Traders Network Show with your host, Michael Yorba. All right. Michael interviews the front page titans about the latest in trading tools and market trends in stocks, commodities, bonds, forex, and derivatives. The Traders Network helps you stay ahead of the curve and delivers tomorrow's trade today. Now, here's your host, Michael Yorba.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios and worldwide through yorbamedia.com. All right, I'm joined on this segment with John Nichols, chairman of Vistage International. This gentleman has got accolades, retirement funding strategist, public speaker, sales trainer, sales manager, salesperson recruiter, retreat facilitator, and Vistage chair, CEO, and coach. The people who are your CEOs that you trust to handle your money, look to this gentleman for advice on how to be a better CEO. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure. I gave a little high-level overview of your background and what you do, but if you could bring us back to you, John, the person of who you are, your background, and we'll get into what your company does in just a second.
Sure. Well, years ago in New York City, I was running a company and I was their VP of sales, and we had a kind of an interesting attitude where there were about 8 companies all importing furniture from Europe, and we would kid about who was leading, and my company was the leader for 11 years. At some point, I decided I was tired of doing that, and I left the company, and one of the owners came to me and said, I'd like to have you come and consult us. You've been beating our butts for the last 11 years. I'd like to hear from you. And I said, on one condition, that I put all other companies in the same room. So there were 8 other companies, and I said, I will consult for you and all of them if you'll let me talk to the group. And he said, well, that's crazy. Nobody will listen to you. And I said to you, are you willing to take a chance? They said yes, and that's how I started my coaching CEOs. I talked to the 8 companies that I had beaten for 11 years and had a real good run for about 3 years before moving to Seattle.
Okay, now you actually serve well over 15,000 members in 15 countries, right?
Yes, so Vistage is an organization that has chairs all over the country, and those chairs have groups of anywhere from 8 to 16 men and women who are CEOs, business leaders, and presidents of their company. So I'm a chair in Seattle, Washington that works with some of those groups.
Okay, let's get into what you do. How do you know a CEO who's going to win or a CEO who's going to fail? There is a big question that a lot of people, the boards, have got to be making, and their success and their failure rests on judging correctly. How do you tell the difference?
Well, there's lots of ways to think about that. Lots of books have been written, but in my opinion and what I've experienced in my lifetime, CEOs to me are like firefighters, and if you know anything about putting out a fire, you can do it yourself. The problem is when you do it yourself, everything else in the room is still in smoke. And what I have discovered with CEOs who win, those are people who create teams that absolutely believe they can take the CEO's job and make it work in all aspects instead of allowing the CEO to make every decision, for the CEO to make every choice about everything that happens. And my way of choosing between a CEO that's going to win or fail is one who plays the role of being a firefighter himself and trains no one else to do anything except tell him how great a job he's doing, or the CEO that I think who wins, who decides he takes the best qualities that he knows and he shares them with 2 or 3 people who become a team for him. And so then that firefighter puts out all the fire in the entire room, not just the one he can put his hose on. That, in a very funny little way, is the way I see it. And when I talk to people who want to put everything out themselves, it's just a matter of time before the problem is greater than they are, and the chances of them putting out the fire doesn't work.
Yeah, so they've got to have an ability to control their ego and delegate, then finding the best people for the job, and work with a team that they can bring together that will buy into the company and buy into the product and the process. Did I get that correct?
You have, with one more exception, and that is that the CEO's ego has to be one that people will believe in, not some giant mentality that only he and his family believe in. And so many times the CEOs I meet, they have this legendary attitude about who they are, and they have their families who love them, but they can't find a person on the staff who wants to do anything special for them. So that ego has to be very carefully planted to do the job right.
Thank you for bringing that out. All right, now let's talk about the CEOs that build businesses. Let's break that out for us.
Well, when we talk about a CEO that builds business, it's someone who says, I'm in it for the long haul. I want the business to be greater than it's ever been. I want the business to be something that people will want to work for and keep for a long time. That's the CEO who builds a business, but there are other CEOs who come in and simply rip the company to shreds, make sure it has some idea of how it can pay for itself or make money for its investors, and then it's blown off. And those are the companies, unfortunately, that so many people work for and never really get the appreciation they deserve. So there are CEOs who build businesses and CEOs who milk businesses.
Yeah, I get that. Tell me, is there, before we move on to some of these other questions I have you, on that note, though, is there a telltale signal coming in the door? Who's going to do what? I mean, beyond them just plain out telling you this. I mean, because some people will say one thing and then subtly they move it in a different direction.
Well, the honest answer to your question is, how do they deal with the situation they can't possibly have imagined? When the situation comes by where there has to be money gained in a way that's well beyond any revenue opportunity possible, and they reach out and they go for the money, and the people they invite to provide that money aren't thinking about the business, aren't thinking about what the company requires. They're simply coming in with a cash check. And when that cash check arrives and they don't know what else to do, that's when they begin to fail. That's a very good sign of a CEO who's going to win or fail. How they deal with a situation they never possibly could have imagined, and how they find a place to get it resolved that isn't in the best interest of the business.
All right, let's drill down into that. The people who are interested in the investment pot versus people that are interested in the long haul on this one, because you've got there's a lot of subtleties in this, and it's a real dicey business knowing how to choose the right and the wrong one here.
Yes, sometimes it's almost impossible. You take someone who has all the sense about how to raise money and how to use money and even how to attract money, but the ability to attract it to the company for the right reasons is where it fails. And so many times when I'm talking to CEOs about going out to get money or wanting to increase their business in terms of more investors, and I ask them, and what will you do with that revenue? And why will that revenue do something important for the business? The answers aren't very clear. As a matter of fact, the answers have no value whatsoever other than telling everyone there's going to be more money available for the company's financial department. And when that happens, and the kind of people they attract for money, those are the companies that aren't going to win. Those are the CEOs who will fail.
That's well put. Well put. Let's do this, John. Let's take a break right now and come back and discuss more of the type of coaching and the things that people need to look at for the leaders for their companies on the other side, okay?
Look forward to it.
All right, we'll be right back with John Nichols, Chairman, Vistage International, and you can go to the website, vistage.com, and the special thanks going out to 1-800-PublicRelations.com for all their PR and media support. We'll be right back on the other side of this break with John Nichols.
Hi friend, Willie Lambright here, your host of Real Estate Talk. Real estate changes people's lives. If you don't think so, join me each Sunday from 1 to 6 o'clock as we do the ins and outs of real estate for you and your family. You'll be glad you did.
Get ready for an explosive, stunt-filled live-action event. Marvel Universe Live. The greatest source of power has been stolen, and it will take your favorite Marvel superheroes to get it back. Witness Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, and many more in a mission to save the universe from Marvel's most sinister villains. Marvel Universe Live. Shop our official partner, Overstock.com.
Kids tickets start at $20. Restrictions and charges apply. Playing American Airlines Center January 30th through February 1st. Visit Ticketmaster.
Do your electric bills make you crazy? Ready to flip off your electric company and flip on big savings? Call Solar for America during our Solar Insanity Weekend. How about owning your solar power system for zero down, no interest, and up to 12 months, same as cash? Right now, you can go solar and save 62% off what you're paying for electricity. Take your rate all the way down to about 5 cents per kilowatt hour. That's the cheapest power you can buy, and it's not a lease. That means you keep your federal tax credit of 30%. Only 100 systems at these prices and only one weekend. Go to solarforamerica.com. Or call 800-463-9797 to reserve your system. Because once they're gone, they're gone. Solar Insanity reservations are available now. 800-463-9797. 800-463-9797. Flip off your power company and flip on Solar for America. American made and the cheapest power you can buy. 800-463-9797.
I'm Dr. James, founder of Diamond Physicians, a concierge medicine practice located in Dallas, Texas. Our Diamond 360 Advanced Physical Exam has been created for people like you who live a high-stress, fast-paced life. Every 40 seconds, someone in the U.S. experiences a life-changing heart attack or debilitating stroke. Negative stress tests and normal cholesterol levels do not exclude you. Half of all fatal heart attacks occur without warning. Diamond goes beyond traditional medicine with the Diamond 360 Advanced Physical Exam. Proven to prevent heart attacks, strokes, and diabetes. Contact Diamond now at 214-395-3491. That's 214-395-3491. Or visit our website at diamondphysicians.com to take the Diamond Challenge. If your Diamond 360 reveals perfect health, receive a full refund. Your loved ones will thank you.
Have you heard? Proactive Plus is faster and better than ever. Stay tuned for a $1 million bottle giveaway, and you'll also receive free shipping. With Proactive Plus, your acne can heal, and you can help prevent new breakouts. Don't miss this limited time offer. We're going to let 1 million people try Proactive Plus risk-free and get 2 free gifts, and also receive free shipping when you call right now. Call 800-285-1205. That's 800-285-1205.
On today's episode of America's Least Wanted, the home invaders most likely to threaten your family are not human. Cockroaches can spread salmonella and trigger asthma attacks. Termites destroy billions of dollars in property each year. And stinging insects send 500,000 people to emergency rooms. Learn how to protect your family. Arm yourself with the facts at pestworld.org. A public service announcement from the National Pest Management Association.
Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host, broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM iHeart Media Studios and worldwide through yorbamedia.com. All right, I'm joined on the show with John Nichols, chair of Vistage International, vistage.com. And John, when we were talking on the other segment, we're talking about telltale signals about CEOs who win, who fail, egos, team building, and making the company a better place for not only the employees but the investors and the clients, the customers. But there's other parts of this puzzle here, and some people are short timers, and some people are in it for the long haul. Can we talk about that?
You bet. And sometimes, if not all the time, that starts right from the beginning. You meet someone who wants to be a CEO, they're in training, they're working for a company, and the first thing you ask them is, where do you want to go, who do you want to work for, and how long do you want to do it? And it's never about how long they want to do it, it's just about getting the opportunity. When you say to them, is this something you want to do for a number of years? Their attitude is, well, I'd like to try for a while and see if I really like it. When you have a person like that who is in the process of becoming a CEO, that short-term mentality shows up in everything they do, with who they hire, the kind of teams they put on place, the kind of relationships they build, the kind of partners they go for. You can feel when a guy's in a short-term basis how he manages the business. With a long-term guy, you feel like they're going to be there forever, and more often than not, that person has come up through a family-owned business or some other kind of business where he's been associated with CEO mentality and believes it's what he wants to do. It's real easy to tell the difference between a guy that's in it for the long term and the short term, and it works in both cases. I've seen short-term CEOs do a great job for a company, do wonderful things, but you have to know what you're looking for when you're hiring that CEO, particularly board of directors.
Yeah, I got that. So you've already got to have your goal defined before you go out to find a CEO. You're not just trying to find somebody who can manage the company on the day-to-day and then trust that they're going to take it to where you think it's going to end up. It's got to be clear-cut before you even bring somebody like that in, is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely,
okay.
Positively. And the most important thing about having a CEO in a Vistage group or just a CEO to be working with is the long-term value of that relationship for the company something that is absolutely meaningful to them beyond the paycheck. And you can tell that in the conversations and how they think about their partnerships and how they think about their people. When you visit with a guy that's worked for one of these CEOs and they start to talk about him, it's almost godlike. It's the sort of thing you hear that you hope that every CEO would find from his people. It's so pleasant to hear. And when I'm out looking for a CEO, I'm talking both to their what I call their eternal team, which is nothing more than an executive team, about what they think of the CEO and what he's done for the company.
Now, let's talk a little bit about your company, if I may, because I'm looking on your website and I found on your business alliances and partnership page, you've got more than 18,000 chief executives, presidents, business owners, senior executives.
Right.
Tell us about these people, because, and before you do that, I want everybody to know that your average number of sales here for these people is generating some $32 million. That's some pretty good horsepower.
Yes. Well, the chairs who create their own groups, they have the right to select any kind of CEOs they want. And there are certain CEOs that fit what Vistage is looking for, and there are CEOs that are beyond what Vistage could ever offer. In a given situation, what's the most important asset to a CEO who joins a Vistage group is a desire to want to learn, not just give back, but wants to learn, and understands that talking about what's on the business versus in the business, if you can't take time out to think about what's important on the business, you'll never be comfortable in Vistage, because what we do is we break you from what you do day in and day out, and we make you think like a visionary. We make you listen to people who have nothing but good advice to give you about making your company better, and that doesn't happen to people who aren't willing to listen.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the first part of in any conversation. If somebody can't listen to you, they really don't care what you're thinking. They're just out for their own agenda. I'm
afraid so.
Well, it's true. But let me dive deeper into your company, if I may, because I'm looking at the types of groups that you have: CEOs, small business, key executives, trusted advisors, so on. Describe those for us, because this is a whole portfolio a whole menu of variety of portfolios that the companies looking for guidance, looking to use your talents better, can come to you, rely on you, and gain the goals that they're achieving. So please break into that.
Sure.
For us.
So the CEO is, of course, the person who's calling the shots in every way, shape, or form. The small business group is groups of people who have the role of a CEO, but their size of their company is so small that they don't have the kind of teams that CEOs work with. And so we have what we call both a key person and a small business group. The small business group is men and women who run very small organizations, and the key persons group is the VP of sales or the VP of operations. And so what we do is we work on those people at the same time as we work on the CEO, so that when they go back to the organization, that CEO has someone they can talk to. That VP of finance has a CEO that he can talk to, and they're both hearing the same things, but not together. They're always separate, so that there's no mix of difficulty in talking about the truth of what's going on in a company. So that's why there's so many different groups, and it makes total sense for a CEO to send 2 or 3 of their key people to one of our small business or key person group sessions.
Let me drive into some of the questions I know are in the back of everybody's head. When you're running your own business, and every business has some kind of a ceiling threshold that is going to take them to a whole other set of problems and a whole other set of opportunities, what are some of the telltale signals that before problems occur and before you get into a place like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed? What are some of the telltale signals that you need to start looking around to bring in another skill set or a group of skill sets to take you, if you want to keep the company going, to take you into a new realm?
Well, the first thing you have to ask yourself is, how is the company doing with my current team? You know, many CEOs believe they found the best people possible. But the first time you give to one of your teammates a difficult task and they fail, or they don't do it very well, or you're dissatisfied with it, the first thing you think about is, maybe I have the wrong people on the team, instead of recognizing I don't have the right people on the team. I have the wrong kinds of people in the wrong positions, and so instead of getting what I need from them, they're doing everything they can to make it happen. And a lot of CEOs that I meet, the very first things they think about are, if I have this problem, whether it's true or something imagined, who in my organization can handle it besides me? And can I do it myself? And when the answer to that, more often than not, is no, that's when we go on a hunt with them to help them find someone that can do the job without screwing up the wonderful team they already have in place, but can't do the work required. That's the first thing. Once you understand you don't have the right people, everything else follows. But most CEOs tend to try to do everything with their existing teams and don't find it very successful.
Now, we only have about 3 minutes left in the interview, but what are some of the processes that somebody would go through to get the right team members, get the right trusted advisor, get the right CEO, get the right key individual in there?
The very first thing has to be, what is going to be the real relevance of this person coming on board? Is this person coming on board to fill a responsibility that somebody has decided the company needs, or is there a revenue expectation that this person can really deliver? And if that revenue expectation is obvious, and that revenue expectation shows that the company is going to be better off as a result, then all of a sudden going for that person, whatever he or she cost, if that person can give the company the revenue expectation it has, that's the most important possibility for adding to a team. And many times, as much as we talk about that very situation, it's never done.
Why?
I think most of the time people feel like we can do it ourselves. You know, we've been through everything on earth. We can do everything ourselves. We can just get some consultant help, or we can get somebody to talk to us. The truth of the matter is, for revenue expectation that makes a difference in a company, you have to find the right person at the right time to do it. And until you do that, you're kidding yourself. You're not being a fireman who's using his team. You're trying to put it out with a hose. And that can hurt.
It sounds to me like somebody needs to step out of themselves and allow outside individuals such as yourself to evaluate the situation and help with a recommendation. Kind of like, don't let the doctor never operates on himself. That type
Right. And the respect that Vistage has for CEOs is enormous. All we're really trying to do is get them to pay attention to what's made them great and not overlook it.
Got it. All right, John, thank you so much for taking the time and being on our show. I really appreciate this.
Michael, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for the opportunity.
I hope to have you back on the show and bring one of your CEOs with us so we can have a three-way conversation about what's working, what isn't working in today's market.
Love to do that. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, John.
Thanks.
All right, John Nichols, chairman of Vistage International, vistage.com, and we'll definitely have some pretty good conversations with him, some real learning experiences going forward. Special thanks to 1-800-publicrelations.com for all their PR and media support. And when we come back, in light of the extraordinary moves we've had in the crude oil and the energy sector, I brought on some old friends of mine. Michael Hanbury is going to be on the show next with us, President BTJ Consulting, and Nicholas Urich, third President Semper Fidelis Exploration and Production. We're going to talk from the ground floor level of what's going on in the energy market. We'll be right back.